Is it recording? Wait, is it recording? Okay. I have some I have some soft music in the background, so I kind of yelled there for a second. No longer soft. I haven't really planned for this. I just kind of said, hey, let's do something insane. Let's do something soft. And strike three. If there is a third strike. Yeah. Ignore my dying battery in the corner. 45 minutes. That's enough to read a fanfic and then be done with this. Ignore all these tabs in the top. They shouldn't affect connectivities, considering I decided to just read a fanfic. This will be calm and soft. Just gonna read a fanfic, why not? The Gift of Nash by Rated Polystar. Edited by Commander X5 and unnamed. This game's winner is Red Team. For Celestia's sake, Scootaloo shouted, throwing the controller on the ground. Apple Bloom, looking just as upset, sighed and shook your head. Hey, be careful with that controller, Button Mash shouted, rushing over and cradling it like it was a baby, cooing and whispering words of comfort. The sight made Scootaloo face hook while Apple Bloom and Sweetie Belle giggled. After making sure his controller was undamaged, he turned towards the one that dare ruin one of his precious Wii remotes. The Wii? What is this? Just because you're Sweetie Belle's friend doesn't mean you can just go around breaking my stuff. These remotes are very expensive. Turning his head, he whispered to himself. And so what? You have like 20 more, Scootaloo said as she pointed to numerous mint condition controllers that were lined up on buttons. Oh! You're just You're just upset that Sweetie Belle and I kicked your butts again, noob. Button Mash proclaimed with a proud smirk on his face. Scootaloo rolled her eyes before turning to you. Remind me how you managed to convince us to spend time with them. It was my choice on what we were to do today, and I wanted to hang out with all my friends, Sweetie Belle said, as she helped Button Mash put away the leaf. Besides, the four of us never really hang out together. Maybe that's because your little cult friend here spends all his time playing these stupid games instead of going outside like a normal person, replied Scootaloo. Both Button Mash and Sweetie Belle blushed at the mentioning of the word cult friend, and glanced at each other before turning away. Apple Bloom shook her head and stepped in. Lighten up, Scootaloo. It was a fun day anyway, even if we lost every single game against them. I feel for you, Apple Bloom. I mean, who would ever thought that Sweetie Belle was such a good gamer? Wrapping his hoof. What the fudge? Come on now. Don't show this message here. Wrapping his hook around an even redder Sweetie Belle, Button Mash puffed out his chest and proclaimed, Yup, I taught Sweetie Belle everything I know from the Pona. From the Ponani codes to the proper timing of using a blue shell. Oh my god. She was quite the noob when I first met her, but she's gotten better. Oh, I was the noob, huh? Sweetie Belle grinned. Who was the one who kept crying because he lost to a girl like Golden Ivy earlier 7 on her first show? That was one time. The girls laughed for a bit before Bum Mash brought something about getting more snacks in the kitchen, to which Sweetie Belle said she would go with him. Apple Bloom and Scootaloo gave each other a smirk before the former said, Are you sure you just ain't looking to get some alone time together? Sweetie Belle sighed, but took the comment in stride. It wasn't the first time her friends had made fun of her for having a cult for a friend. Just because I find him a bit cute doesn't mean he's my cult friend. He wants snacks or not, Button Mash asked while giving them an impatient glare. Sure, go do your quest for the goods, old Bravery, and take your princess with you. It's not even how it works, Scootaloo said dramatically as she pointed to the door. Thank you, Button Mash said cheerfully. I prefer being a paladin, but a knight is a cool class as well. I was talking to Sweetie Belle, Scootaloo teased before laughing at the tackle of Button Mash stomping him and cursing in I thought it was Hongolian, not Hungolian. But anyway. Sweetie Belle knew her friends didn't mean what they said, but after a while she found their teasing annoying and repetitive. Then again, every pony from Rarity to even Button's mom teased them about their relationship. Seriously, you don't see Dinky and Pipsqueak being made fun of for being friends. The two walked through the holiday-decorated halls in silence, trying to avoid each other's gaze, while keeping our focus on the various lights, tinsel, and heartwarming theme ornaments in the hall. Sweetie Belle decided to I think my friends like you. Yep, they like me like orcs like space marines. All that's missing is a mace and a bit of green makeup on Scootaloo's face. But Mash muttered, lowering his head. Ah, cheer up. They're just doing some simple teasing. Besides, you've been getting along with them for the most part, right? Remember when we all played Palette Founders and totally owned it? The four of us were like a machine, Sweetie Belle pointed out. This cheered up the little gamer cult as he grinned at us. Yeah, I guess. And we did beat the Cyclops faster than even the time my whole family played. He shrugged his shoulder before looking at Sweetie Belle with a small smile. Your friends are okay, even if they tend to be a bit annoying from time to time, but I'd rather hang out with you instead. You're different from most bunnies. You're cool. Thanks, Sweetie Belle whispered. She felt her cheeks heat up and quickly hid a blush by finding the ceiling suddenly very interesting. Arriving at the kitchen, Button Mash jumped onto the counter and hoisted himself up before looking through the cabinets. Meanwhile, Sweetie Belle was thinking about her relationship with the Wolf that had moved to town only a few months ago. Wolf Wrestling, Apple Bloom. Hold on, wait a minute. I read that in the wrong context. Wolf Wrestling, Apple Bloom challenged as they went down the list. Lunchtime was inside today due to the playground being worked on after an incident involving Derpy Who's Paris Sprites, gasoline, peanuts, and a cart full of fireworks. So the Crusaders decided to write down their newest ideas during their lunch break for the next few days. We tried that last week and got nothing, Scootaloo pointed out before taking a bite of his chair. Cow tipping? Sweetie Belle suggested. It's very dangerous. Daisy said we're not allowed near her and the other cows since we tried extreme milking. Apple Bloom answered, which made the other twins from thinking about the scolding they got, as well as the agonizing screams of 6 skeleton things. Rats! There has to be something we can do, Scootaloo shouted, banging her head against the desk. Ow! Sweetie Belle was about to say something when she caught a sight that made her stomach turn. Diamond, Tiara, and Silver Spoon were entering the classroom and appeared to be heading towards them. The others quickly recognized the impending danger and prepared to deal with their usual bullies. To their surprise, the rich fellows ignored them and made their way towards the center of the class, where a cult was playing with what looked like to be some kind of electronic help game on a desk. Isn't that the new kid? Button Mash or something? Scootaloo asked, scratching his head. Yeah, he moved here a while ago, Apple Bloom answered. I was with my sis when Pinky threw her usual welcome party for his family. He just stayed in the back playing with that toy of his. I think it's a video game. Sweetie Belle noticed from her angle that there was no cutie mark in the Colts play. He doesn't have a cutie mark. Do you think he'll want to join us? I doubt it. He ain't the most special of ponies. I'm gonna do a face-off right now. He ain't the most social of ponies, Apple Bloom said, shaking her head. According to what I've heard, the only thing he ever talks about is video games. The three soon quieted down when they noticed Diamond, Tiara, and Silver Spoon stopping in front of Button's desk. The cult was still focused on the screen of his new toy, never moving an inch except for his hooves, which were rapidly pressing the buttons. Hey, blank flank, Diamond Tiara said, smirking when she and Silver Spoon waited for him to respond. Only he didn't. He just continued to play his game. The two rich fillies raised an eyebrow at each other before Diamond Tiara, cheeks puffing, shouted, "Hey, blank flank! Are you listening, or are there no brains under that beanie of yours?" To the surprise of every pony who was watching, Button Mash still ignored the two. Diamond Tiara slowly started to turn red to the point where it looked like steam was about to come out of her ears. She slammed her hoof on the desk, which finally startled Button Mash into looking up after he jumped in the face. "Hey, I'm talking to you. Are you deaf as well as dumb?" This is a pretty bad idea. Yeah? Button was about to respond when suddenly a series of sad tones erupted from his toy and he gasped. "What? No!" He turned around. He turned towards the stunned Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon before pulling his forelegs around Lost Hand. "Do you have any idea what you just did? You made me lose my last life. At the last boss. Now I'll never save the priestess. The Dark Lord shall cover the land in darkness for 1,000 years. His demons will feast at my court. I forgot to save before this last castle, so now I have to redo it again." He then grabbed Diamond Tiara by the cheeks and looked into her wide eyes. "And it's all your fault." Her response was slapping him in the face and knocking him off his chair. "Don't touch me, weirdo." "Yeah, it's just a stupid game anyway," Slurflin said, picking up the toy but quickly lost it when Buns got up and grabbed it with his mouth, growling like a dog. The two girls looked at each other before turning towards Button with disgust. "What's wrong with you?" "No noob touches the joy boy, especially from annoying girls like you. Leave before I cast the mighty Ultima spell and vanquish you like I did to the Ultimerixy in Final Harmony 8. So, Final Fantasy 8. The last game I played was Final Fantasy 1. Scratch that. The last game I played was Final Fantasy 13. And the only ones I actually played were Final Fantasy 13 and 1. You never played Final Fantasy 8. Button Mash replied, while waving his hooves around in strange motions and whispering words of nonsense. The rich fillies just rolled their eyes and walked away. Button, meanwhile, was laughing to himself. "Foolish fillies, turned away from my awesomeness. I've mastered the best speech and comeback skills from Commander Shipper himself. I am invincible, and I need to pee because I drank way too much soda for lunch. And how do you not have diabetes?" With that said, the students watched in silence as Button Mash ran out to him, his bladder guiding him down the hall. Frustrated, I watched the whole thing in silence before Sweetie finally said, "Well, that was interesting. I think it was kind of cool how he told Diamond. I think it was cool how he told Tiara off like that," Apple Bloom commented with a smile. Scootaloo rolled her eyes. "Personally, and I can't believe I'm agreeing with those two of all ponies, I think he's weird. The way he went on about demons and spells and it sounds like he's way too obsessed with video games." Not really." "Oh?" Sweetie Belle smirked. "I saw some similarities to you whenever you're going on about Rainbow Dash." That's different," Scootaloo shouted while the others laughed. Before she could defend herself, Miss Shirley came in and lunch was soon over. Sweetie Belle went back to her seat, noticing that it was right next to Button Masters, but ignoring the cult for the rest of the class. With school finally over, Sweetie Belle had hoped that she and her friends could hang out, as they both had chores to do at home. With no pony else to play with, Sweetie Belle decided to head over to Chicken Cube Corner to give something a snack. Entering the establishment, she saw Mr. Cake by the counter, greeting her with a sound. "Afternoon, Sweetie Belle. Just yourself today?" "Yeah, the girls are busy, so I came by myself today," Sweetie Belle answered, licking her lips at the thought of tasting something from a chicken bakery. Can I start things off with a vanilla milkshake? Sure. In fact, there's a nice cult over there who ordered a chocolate one. Why don't you two talk to each other since you're both like them so much? Mr. Cake suggested it, pointing to the table for her. Sweetiebelle looked to see who it was, and, to her surprise, it was none other than Button Mash. He wasn't on his drawer boy for once, and instead looked like he was struggling from reading. It looked like tonight's homework assignment on the table. The constant biting he was doing on his pencil only made it obvious he was struggling. Although Sweetiebelle was unsure of sitting next to the unusual cult, curiosity got the better of her. Hi, Sweetiebelle said, getting his attention. I'm Sweetiebelle. Ryanla. I'm Button Mash, he said with a nod. Ryanla? Sweetiebelle asked one turn. Let me tell him. I'm pretty sure it's Hungolian. A language used in real cool video games, I tell you. Sweetiebelle gave a nervous smile and nodded. You sure like video games? Are you kidding? They're the best! Helped to make my own video game someday too, Button Mash said, cheerfully with a squeak. You think that's your special talent? Sweetiebelle asked, pointing to his plane. Button Mash looked at his bare bottom and suggested. Maybe it is, or maybe it isn't. Doesn't matter to me. It's what I plan to do no matter what my team might do. Sweetiebelle stared at him in shock before cleaning her ears. She had never heard another blind Spike say something like that when it came to cutie marks. The way he said it was like he didn't even care. Surely you want to know what you're destined to do in life, right? He shook his head. Not really. I'm in no rush. It's so cold after all, and I want to enjoy it while I can. No sense in stupid picture on my butt says I have to do this or that. He frowned. What if it's something I really don't want to be? I want to be my own boss, so nobody can boss me around and tell me what to do. Not even a cutie mark. I guess I had enough for my mom and brother. He then closed the book and looked at her straight in the eye. If making games is going to be my special talent, then I'm fine with that. But even if it isn't, I'm not going to stop pursuing my dreams just because I happen to be talented in something else, like llama herding, or trash collecting, or nunchuck wielding. Although the last one would be pretty cool. He rubbed his chin and looked up articulating and off in his mouth. Button Mash. Yeah, that'd be sweet. While he was daydreaming about himself, Sweetiebelle couldn't help but wonder how it would be not to worry about her cutie mark like this couple. Unlike Button Mash, Sweetiebelle wanted to grow up and find out what she was best at. But hearing his opinion made her question something. She and her friends had spent forever trying to find their cutie mark. But what if, down the road, they didn't like them? What if they were unhappy with their special talents and their lives surrounding them? Good lord. This is a really long fanfic. She thought of her sister, who was a dress designer, but in truth her special talent was finding gems. Rady could have been successful owning her own gem finding business, but instead she focused on her dream of designing clothes. Twilight was both a princess and talented in magic, but she seemed happy being a librarian here at Plainville Ponyville instead of working at the palace, or teaching magic at the school in Canterlot. There are others as well, such as Derpy who is the world champion in bubble blowing, though she was happy being a mantler, and Berry Punch, who everybody said made the best wine, but preferred to keep her bartending job at the local tavern. So she made the best wine, but she's a bartender. Okay. The cutie mark was originally formed to find their special talents, and she would never give up doing so. But what would happen once they found them? Would they have their whole future set around them, or would they go down different paths? Order up! Mr. Cake's voice shouted, snapping Sweetiebelle out of her thoughts. The two milkshakes landed perfectly in front of the two ponies, who licked their lips at the side of their drinks. Ah well, milkshakes first, debate about life later. You know, it's technically called real talk, but real talk, like, just because you have a special talent at something doesn't mean that you're not enjoy doing something else. It is very true. Sometimes your special talent can be related to what you like doing, sometimes it won't. What you end up doing in life is what you truly like to do. Your special talent doesn't have to automatically be what you like doing. You know, like Button Mash, he's true. That's like freaking real talk. Like, real talk. It doesn't matter if my special talent is video games or not. I'm gonna end up doing that because that's what I truly like doing. It's truthful. Real talk, I haven't actually found out what I want to do in life yet, you know. I'm pretty sure I've already figured out what my special talent is, and That's pretty much my special talent is my unusual luck. But I doubt this can have anything at all to do with what I end up doing in life. She was about to take a sip when Bun suddenly got in her face with a what smell. Wait. Wow! I'm sorry. Milkshake race. 1, 2, 3, go! What? Sweetie Belle could barely say as Button Mash started sucking on his milkshake at intense speeds. She raised her eyebrow and tried to warn him about this. But it was too late as the poor colt started screaming and clutching his head before falling dramatically onto the floor. Sweetie Belle shook her head, wondering how she could have been so serious at one point. Wondering how he could have been so serious at one point. Was that a draw clean the nest? She'd get along with my sister. Drinking her own milkshake, she continued to watch Bun flail around the floor in agony, banging his head against his hooves. Feeling bored, Sweetie Belle saw the Joy Boy and figured she might as well try it out, having never really played video games before. How entertaining is this thing anyway? Yes, sing into the lava, you nasty ferocious white martyr. Sweetie Belle cried out with glee. She watched as a giant spike turtle demon fell into the red hot lava, while the red plumber pony she had been playing exited the castle. Yes, I did it. Wow, not bad. For a noob, Button Mash said behind her, causing her to jump. He smiled. Normally, I don't let any pony touch my Joy Boy, but I think I'll make an exception because you beat Wolf Pony. Sweetie Belle turned the Joy Boy off before handing it back over to its owner. Sorry, I guess I got caught up in it. It's okay. Happens to me all the time, Button Mash said as he put it away in his saddlebag. Upon seeing the white filly heading to the exit, he beamed. Well, I'll come over to my place and play some more. I got every game on every console you can get. That's some pretty hardcore dedication. Sweetie Belle had to admit, she did have some fun, and Button Mash wasn't so bad. A bit weird and always changing emotions on the fly. But then again, this cult had nothing on think about. And if video games really are as fun as that one is, why not? Sure. Awesome. Let's go, Button Mash said before dragging Sweetie Belle out of Sugar Cane Farm, before she had a chance to say anything. Sweetie Belle, heads up. Huh? Sweetie Belle said, snapping out of her daydream before a bag of Cheetos hit her in the face. Ow, watch it. So I thought you weren't paying attention. What were you zoning out about anyway? Button Mash asked as he jumped down from the counter, holding a bag of pretzels. Sweetie Belle was about to say what she was thinking, but stopped herself when she realized that could have sounded very wrong. Instead, she said, I was thinking about Mayhem Heartwarming Eve show. You mean that event you've been talking about for the past 2 months? Not a surprise, Button Mash said, shaking his head with a knowing smirk. The two of them made their way back to his room, I mean, I thought I had it bad when I was waiting for Magic Effect 3, but you've even talked about it when you're sleeping in class. Well, can you blame me? It's the biggest heartwarming celebration in all of Equestria, and every year all the best band performances, celebrities, and Broadway plays perform there. Even my favorite singer, Taylor Swift. Is that a reference to something? We'll be there too, Sweetie Belle said, hopping along the way. I've wanted to go there ever since I was 4 and my sister saved enough money for us to go there. Since I was 4 and my sister saved enough money for us to go this year. Well, I'm sure you'll enjoy it, Button Mash said as he re-entered the room. But as for me, I just need all the video games my parents are going to give me. And don't touch that! Sweetie Belle looked inside and spotted Scootaloo about to touch a glass box that held a game cartridge inside. Before Sweetie Belle knew it, Button Mash had pushed Scootaloo away and was huddling over the glass, inspecting every bit of it from top to bottom, not taking kindly to the fact that she was pushed off her hooves. Scootaloo growled and bonked Button Mash on the head, making his eyes spin just as fast as the propeller on the tank. What the hay was that for? Scootaloo demanded. Button Mash got up and clashed heads with Scootaloo, the two growling at each other like dogs after the same bone. For your information, that happens to be the crown jewel of my entire gaming collection. That is one of the only 10 copies of Ultima 11, aka Super Sidebucks 5, on the Neo Geo. That there is worth over 1,000 bits, maybe even more. That little game is really worth that much? Scootaloo asked, looking at it in disbelief. If that's really true, why haven't you sold it yet? A look of horror decorated Button Mash's face as he quickly covered the side of the cartridge with his body. Are you mad? Every gamer dreams of holding something so priceless in gaming history. I'm lucky I even found it collecting dust in my grandparents' attic. Still can't believe that they didn't know how valuable this is. He muttered before pointing at the game. I'm never selling the thing. I'm even taking it with me in my coffin when I die. Scootaloo shook her head before heading over to the snack. But before they could open the bag, a knock was heard from the door, followed by Miss Mash poking her head out. Button, sweetie, it's time for your friends to head home. But Mom, we're just about to start a tournament. Skipping that line, I know, but tomorrow's a school day and you still have homework to do, Miss Mash said, shaking her head. Ignoring the whispers of her son speaking in I'm gonna say Hun for now, and Hungolian curses, she turned to the girls and smiled. Thank you so much for visiting my bun. It's nice to see his friends come by to play. Do you need me to walk you girls home? No thanks, Miss Mash. We'll be able to get home on our own, Appleblue said, leading the Crusaders out. Thanks for having us. Yeah, thanks, Scootaloo said. See you later, Bun, Sweetie said, waving her friend goodbye. Yeah, see you at school, Buns replied, waving back. When the three were gone, Miss Mash turned back to her son and asked, Button, do you wish to help me and your older brother decorate more of the house? We still need to put up the bells, the angel on the tree, and the mistletoe. Ah, gross. Button's gay. Why do I care about that? Just because you and Dad are married, and Big Bro's dating that sparkler man, doesn't mean I need to be involved in sappy romance. I don't know. I think it would be cute to see you and Sweetie Belle under her, Miss Mash hinted, giggling. Mom! Rarity, I'm home, Sweetie Belle shouted, rushing in to avoid the cold winter breeze. Taking off her snow boots and scarf, she rushed towards the living room where, to her amusement, Rarity was still fixing up the heart-warming tree. Is it up to your standards yet? Laugh all you want, but this year I'm decorating the tree instead of you. Last year you made it so chaotic that Discord himself praised your work, Rarity muttered as she slowly moved the candy cane from one timer to the next until she found the perfect spot. And there. Perfect. Sweetie Belle shook her head before looking at the tree in all its glory. The red and green lights were lit up like the stars in the sky. The glittering tinsel of silver and gold was wrapped around the tree. The various ornaments that gave it its cheerful glow with each holding a personal memory, and the candy canes that Sweetie Belle was tempted to buy made it look just as Rarity proclaimed. Perfect. Some of the presents from her friends and family were under the tree, as well as cards placed neatly in the branches, addressed to either herself or Rarity. But the one thing she loved most was the special golden envelope at the top of the tree that held 2 tickets to the show in Manhattan. Every time she passed by the tree, what did I just say? Every time she passed by the tree, Sweetie Belle made sure to look at it to see that it was untouched. She wouldn't let Rarity touch it again until the day came to leave for the city. They had to remain in mint condition. How was your visit to the Mashes, darling? Rarity asked as she stacked the empty boxes next to each other, now that their ornaments were up on the tree. It was fun. Me and Button Mash kicked Scootaloo and Appleblue's flanks easily, Sweetie Belle answered cheerfully. It's nice that all my friends are getting along. I just wish Button would join us on our crusading. While Sweetie Belle sighed, she missed Rarity look up into the sky and mutter, "Thank you" to the heavens. Clearing her throat, Rarity then said, Well, I think it's good that you are helping each other get along. You two are quite the pairing. Yeah, he's funny, enthusiastic, and a really nice colt when you get to know him. Sure, he's a bit loud and sometimes overreacts, but in the end he can make you laugh. He can be emotional too, not acting all not acting like all macho like other colts do. Sweetie Belle smirked before adding. Plus she's not afraid to stand up to bullies like Damatier and Silver Spoon. Sweetie Belle sighed, a dreamy smile stretching across her face. And that man is kinda gorgeous. In a swift move, One of her hooves was sealed over her mouth. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Has my little sister also found the gift of love this heartwarming year? Rarity giggled, holding her hoof to her mouth. What? Sweetie Belle shouted, blushing. I don't. I was just... I'm leaving. I'm heading to my room. Watching her sister stomp her way out of her living room, Rarity couldn't help but laugh at her sister's cute demo. Oh, to be young and having crushes. I miss those days. Rarity mused as she turned to the tree. Green glass balls mixed with purple. Outrageous! I shall slap myself for thinking such a thing. Red should go with green and purple with blue. And I actually agree with you there, Rarity. Sweetie Belle didn't know why she was suddenly in the snowy woods, all alone. But for some reason, she didn't feel worried. It felt very peaceful walking through the trees as the snow tickled her nose every time a flake landed. And despite it being winter, it didn't actually feel that cold. The only thing that bothered her was the fact that she was lonely. Then, as if her wishes were answered, she saw Sunpony sitting next to a large tree with his back turned. Hurrying forward a bit more, she smiled and shouted out his name. Button Mash! Button turned around and smiled at Sweetie Belle, who walked over and hugged him. What are you doing here? I could ask you the same thing, Sweetie Belle replied. She was about to question him on where they were when she was noticing something above her. Button looked up as well, and they both blushed at the same time when they found out they were right under a sprig of mistletoe. Then they looked at each other, unsure of what to do in this situation. Okay, I'm currently going to go die inside, so excuse me. We're going to get some water. Give me a moment. Give me a moment. I I guess we have to follow the tradition, right? Button Mash whispered. Sure, Sweetie Belle whispered back. Slowly, the two of them moved closer to each other's lips as Sweetie Belle closed her heart thumping louder and louder. She felt like she was burning up. In fact, she could smell something burning. Opening her eyes, she saw Button Mash was gone, but her confusion soon turned to horror when she looked at the tree again and saw that it was on fire. She looked around and saw that it wasn't the only one. The entire forest. I'm I'm going to assume that's not a typo, but okay. Redemption. The entire forest was lit aflame. What's going on? Button, where are you? Help! Sweetie Belle shouted as the flames rose higher and higher. She curled up in a ball as tears began to fall down her cheeks. Help me! Sunpony, help me! Sweetie Belle! Okay. I have to go get a battery. I don't know how long I've been talking. Oh, 33 minutes. I believe we're halfway through the story. Let me go get a battery. I don't think it's going to last that much longer. Okay. Sure. We should be good now. Now then. Let me just leave the water bottle open because my mouth is really dry. Opening her eyes, Sweetie Belle saw her sister in her nightrobe, shaking her awake with a terrified look on her face. Darling, wake up. This is no time to be sleeping. We have to get out of here. Sweetie Belle could smell the horrible smoke coming from the hall, as she felt suddenly much hotter than the heating in the house should have been. A grim thought entered her mind as she nervously asked, "What's going on?" "There's a fire in the boutique. We have to get out of here. Now." The little filly didn't need to be told twice. She jumped out of bed and followed her sister down the hall, but was forced to stop when her sister came to a halt. Looking past her, Sweetie Belle gasped in horror as the flames started spreading up the stairs towards them. "What do we do?" Brady looked at the flames and then Sweetie Belle before she took her sister and rushed back into her room. Opening the window, she looked at Sweetie Belle straight in the eye. "Sweetie Belle, listen to me. I'm going to levitate you out of the house. Get as far away from here as you can. Don't come back. You hear me?" "But what about you?" Sweetie Belle shouted, hugging her sister. "I'll look for another way to escape. I promise. Everything will be fine." Sweetie Belle shook her head and held on to her sister even tighter, choosing to let go as Rarity's magic began to levitate her. "No, no. I won't leave you, Rarity. You can't make me. I don't want to lose you." "Sweetie Joyous Belle." Very interesting middle name you created there. Rarity shouted, making Sweetie wince upon hearing her middle name used. "Listen to me, young lady. I will not use you. I will not lose you to this fire, nor will I lose my life. But I can concentrate better knowing that you are safe and sound. You are more important to me than anything else. I'll never forgive myself should something happen to you. But Rarity gently placed her hand on Sweetie Belle's lip and smiled. "Sweetie, I'll be fine. I promise." Pinkie promised even. Closing her teary eye, she hugged her sister before letting go, allowing the magic to lift her towards the window. "Rarity, I love you too, Sweetie Belle," Rarity whispered before closing her eyes in concentration. Sweetie Belle held her breath as her sister slowly levitated her away from the burning building and towards the ground outside. When her feet touched the ground, she scuttered away to the other end of the street and watched, hoping her sister would soon fall. Only a minute passed, but if it felt like that if is improperly placed. But it felt like an eternity as Sweetie Belle waited in terrified silence to see her sister appear, safe and sound, or hear her final screams before the terrible fire took her. That was when she saw Rarity, at the other end of the shop on the second floor, leaning out the bathroom window. She was looking at the tree nearby, judging the distance between herself and her one chance to be safe. Sweetie Belle gasped as her sister jumped and managed to catch herself on the branch before using it to climb down the tree. Overwhelmed with relief, Sweetie Belle ran to her sister and nearly tackled her off her hoof. "You're alive!" "I said I'd be okay," Rarity muttered, holding her sister so tight she could have crushed her. But Sweetie didn't care. Her sister was still here, and that's all that mattered. A second later, both sisters were far away from the shop, where they could see the entire lower half of the boutique caught up in a fire that slowly spread to the upper half. Ponies were rushing out of their homes, gasping in horror at the sight, ignoring the snow on her. Sweetie Belle got up and looked at the boutique, tears streaming down her face as she watched everything burn. Her sister's work, the housewarming decorations, the tree, all of it now food for the fire. And that includes the tickets. The very same ones she made sure to check every day were now most likely destroyed. All that time, all that saved money, was now gone. Unable to take anymore, Sweetie Belle dove into her sister's chest and unleashed her sorrow. Rarity could only comfort her sister as the firefighter pony finally arrived to save what was left of her store. Waking up from his alarm clock, Bun. Oh wait, that was kind of a paragraph interruption. Sorry. I've never talked this much before. Maybe I have, maybe I haven't. Pretty sure I haven't. This is 13,000 words. Pretty damn long. Don't think I've talked this much. Waking up from his alarm clock, Bun rolled out of bed and started his morning exercise. While not much of an athlete, he had read on Kokultku that gamers like him develop back problems as they got older. Not wanting to be some hunchback, he stretched every day to avoid this. Once he was done, Bun dashed out of his room, hoping to taste his mother's delicious pancakes before heading to school. He was always the first one up, thanks to his mother, while his brother and father were both late sleepers. But he didn't care. More pancakes for him. Halfway down the hall, Button noticed something as he sniffed it. There was a distinct lack of pancake smell. Arriving at the kitchen, he was surprised to find his mother at the table, drinking coffee with the stove unlit behind her. Looking up from her cup, she noticed Bun and bit her lip. Bun knew that look and it made him feel uneasy, as he remembered seeing such an expression from his mother every time she had to tell them that they were moving. A lingering and familiar fear began to grow inside of him, as his head began to spin around. She promised! No more moving. No more saying goodbye to friends I just made. I don't want to leave Ponyville. I don't want to leave Sweetyville. Please don't let this happen again. Please. Button, sweetie, there's something you should know. What is it? Button asked nervously. You're gonna say it. Those 3 words. We're moving again. Sighing, Miss Mash got up and walked over to his hip, gently placing a hoof on its shoulder. There was a fire at the Carousel Boutique. A what? Bun screamed as he found it harder to breathe. Suddenly his fears of moving were replaced with an even worse one. The idea that Sweetie Belle, his best friend, surrounded by fire with no way out, as the flames inched closer and closer, made him feel colder inside than any winter storm could ever. He would rather heard that they were moving again. His imagination began to paint him a picture of Sweetie Belle screaming for help as her doom approached her, but no pony there to help her. What happened? Is she okay? She's fine, Buttons. She's fine, Buttons. Both her and Rarity made it out unharmed, but the store burned down and they're staying somewhere safe, I heard. Miss Smash answered, hugging her son. It's okay. They're fine. Bun closed his eyes and held on to his mother as tight as he could. For a brief moment, he had thought he had lost something precious to him that he had only tasted once in a while. Something no video game in the world could ever replace if he lost it. And that was a friend. A true friend. In fact, Sweetie Belle was the longest friend he ever had. Before Ponyville, his father's job often made it hard to make or keep any. At the rare chance that he did make a friend, it didn't last long, as they would soon be up and moving once again, and he would lose touch with them. It also didn't help that the only reason some ponies hung out with him was only just because of his huge game collection, and not just himself. Over time, he soon gave up on the idea of having a real friend, preferring to live in the digital world instead of the real one. That was until he met Sweetie Belle, who had wanted to hang out with him and have fun, whether it was with games or not. She liked him for who he was, not for what system he had, like so many did. Only one other pony was ever like that to him, but he hadn't seen him since they moved. He never thought he would have had that kind of friendship again, until he met Sweetie Belle. I lost her, Button mashed on, doing his best not to cry. He then broke the hug and realized that he had to find her, just to make sure she was okay. Without telling his mother, he ran towards the closet, put on his boots and jacket, and ran out the door while his name was being called. He ignored his mother's orders to come back home, not caring about school or being grounded at the moment. It was worth having his pony station free taken away for 2 weeks. It was worth having his pony station free taken away for 2 weeks, if it meant seeing Sweetie Belle unharmed. It didn't take long for the determined Colt to arrive at the street where Carousel Boutique was, but he soon gasped at the sight of the destruction. He had never seen a burned building before in his life, and the sight of the once proud and regal clothes store that was now a complete and utter black husk sent a shiver down Button's spine. It was barely standing with the smell of smoke and burned cloth fresh in the air. He nervously joined a small group of ponies behind some yellow tape as firefighter ponies inspected the area. Pushing himself through the crowd, he overheard various rumors being spread around, from Rarity being drunk and causing the accident to an arsonist trying to cause gas. Many ponies were wondering where Rarity and her younger sister were, with some assuming they had both perished in the flames, at least until others told them the truth. Although he heard his mother tell him they were okay, he still had a lingering worry that somewhere in that destroyed store was the corpse of his best friend. He soon made it to the front, where he quickly spotted a firefighter and waved his foreleg for his attention, but he ignored him. Hey, mister, hey! No matter how much Button screamed, cursed, or hollered, the fire pony was as unresponsive as a wall. Kicking the snow underneath him, Button tried to think of another way to get the information he needed,
when he spotted his teacher nearby, looking at the house. Miss Cherry, hey! Bun forced his way past a few adults, apologizing along the way, until his teacher spotted him. Button Mash, what are you doing here? Where is your mother? Shirley asked. Never mind that. Do you know where Sweetie Belle is? I need to know if she's okay. Miss Shirley comforted the colt by placing her hoof on his head and giving him more warmth. She's okay, Bun. I talked to one firefighter. Okay. I talked to one firefighter a few minutes ago to check up on her as well. She and Rarity are at their parents' house near the lake. And I think you should. Thanks, Teach. Gotta go. Gotta go fast, shouted Button Mash, making his way through the crowd again. Button Mash, wait, shouted Charlie, but he was already lost in the crowd and out of her sight. Once he was free of the crowd, Button Mash made a beeline in the direction of the lake, hoping to find the right house where his best friend was. Hang on, Sweetie Belle, I'm coming. After 3 failed houses by the lake, Button Mash made it to the last one by the edge and hoped this was the right one as he knocked on the door. It opened, revealing a tall white stallion dressed in a sweater, covered in candy canes and wearing a Santa hat. His mustache twitched as he politely asked, Can I help you? Is Sweetie Belle here? I'm her friend Button Mash. I came to see if she was okay. The stallion smiled. Oh, you're that nice young colt our daughter's been talking about. Yes, I'm her father, Magnum. She opened the door fully. Please come in. Sweetie Belle's with her other friends inside her room. What's with the music matching the story? Sighing in relief, he thanked the stallion and made a beeline for the stairs. Halfway there, he nearly bumped into Rarity, who was coming in from the living room. Rarity looked surprised at first, but soon smiled and nodded at the uncle. Hello, Button Mash. I'd asked why you weren't in school, but then again, I think you heard what's happening and came to see if we were alright. Yeah, sorry about your story, Button Mash said. Rarity sighed and looked down at the floor in disappointment. It's okay. Most of my orders were already done, and the most important thing is that Sweetie Belle and I made it out alive. The insurance should be able to help out with the repairs, and in a few months my shop will return. Only with a few new decorations I've always wanted to try out. Is Sweetie Belle taking it well? An even longer sigh escaped Rarity's lips as she shook her head, glancing to the stairs with sympathy. No, I'm afraid she's not. The poor dear is still scared out of her wits. We had to put out the fire in the fireplace when she freaked out at the sight of it. But I think the fact we lost the tickets is what hurts her the most. Wait, we had to put out the fire in the fireplace when she freaked out at... Oh, she's scared of fire now. I'm pretty sure if anyone was in a burning house, they'd be scared of fire. But I think the fact we lost the tickets is what hurt her the most. You mean the tickets to the show on Heartwarming Week? Rarity nodded. Yes, we had to save for an entire year just to purchase good seats. I hate to see her this disappointed, especially around this time of year. But we're just going to have to try another time. Rarity then stepped back so that Button Mash... What is with me messing up today? Rarity then stepped back so that Bun could move past her. Anyway, I wasted enough of your time. You should go see my sister. Button thanked her and went up the steps, trying to think of what he was going to say to Sweetie Belle when he met her. He didn't know anything else beyond how sorry it was that she lost so much, but he feared it would only make her feel worse. That is true. In situations like this, it's best to just take a deep breath and take on all the events one step at a time. Usually if it's relatable, that helps, but if it's not, then it's just tougher. Being relatable is the best way to talk about a situation like that. If it's not relatable, it's kind of hard to talk about, you know. Like, I know how you feel like, so I can be there for you. That's like the easiest way to do it. I've never seen a conflict resolved when you weren't in the same situation. When he reached the final step, he quickly saw Sweetie Belle's room was the one with the pink heart on it, and made his way towards the door. He knocked on it before entering. Inside, he found Applewood and Spoolie by Sweetie Belle, who had tear marks on her face. On the bed, unable to control himself, he rushed forward, jumping onto the bed and hugged Sweetie Belle. You're okay! Sweetie Belle sniffed a bit before hugging him back. You came to check up on me? Of course. Mom told me you're okay. But I needed to see it, Button whispered as he hugged even tighter. The two friends continued to hold each other in silence, a few tears dripping down here and there from Sweetie Belle. When they separated, Button nervously asked, Are you feeling alright? She just came out of a fire. What do you think? Scootaloo asked hastily. Scootaloo, please, no fighting, Sweetie Belle asked, shaking her head. And honestly, I'm not okay. I just keep thinking about that fire and how it's burning everything, and Sweetie Belle held herself and wrapped her tail around while her friends scooted closer, trying to help her feel more relaxed. At least you're both alive, Button Mash stated, figuring he might as well see something positive. That's the most important thing. That's going to do it. Sure, you lost all your presents and those tickets, but you're still here. This only made Sweetie Belle lower her head even more, as well as Scootaloo and Apple Bloom glared at him, fermenting him. Gulping, he slowly scooted back a bit, making sure to keep his mouth shut. Yeah, your family can spend a heartwarming day with me and my family, Apple Bloom said, putting her hoof around the depressed unicorn. Me too, Scootaloo said. Sweetie Belle looked at her three friends while wiping her eyes and said, Thank you, all of you. But I think I want to be alone with my family this year. You should probably get to school now. You don't want to make your families and Miss Cheerleading mad. Forget school. I'm not going until I'm sure you're okay, Button stated, standing straight up. Please, I want to be alone, Sweetie Belle said, looking away from them. But Button was interrupted when Apple Bloom bumped him on the shoulder. Come on, Button. She's been through a lot. Let's give her some time alone, Apple Bloom muttered. Button Mash looked at Sweetie Belle for a bit, hoping to see some sort of desire for him to stay. But he closed his eyes and nodded. The three guests said their goodbyes before leaving the room one by one. Button, the last one, closed the door and was about to follow the other two downstairs when heard the sounds of soft sobs from inside. I may be reading bad, but at least I was right correctly. Muttering a Han Golian curse to himself, he reluctantly went downstairs. Good lord, what have I got myself into? This is such a long fic. Okay. Okay. Hold on. Just stretch out my bearings from this extraordinarily long story. Hold on. Pull away. My 3DS away. Lie down. Scoot a bit closer. See you lying down. Adjust the laptop. Moves the phone. Press play. When the final bell rang, almost every student galloped out of their seats with joy. The last day of school before the heartwarming break was finally here. Button Mash started to quickly put away his school books as Miss Cheerily wished every pony happy holiday before skipping out of the school herself. Seemed like students aren't the only ones who enjoy their holiday breaks, Button Mash thought as he finished packing. The entire class started to walk out as one big group, with every pony as bright and cheerful as can be. All except for Sweetie Belle, who was taking her time leaving. He wasn't the only one who noticed, as both Apple Bloom and Scootaloo held back from leaving to start their break and waited as well for their friend. When Sweetie Belle was finally ready, only then did they leave as a group, but it was done with a depressing tone of silence in the air. Button Mash sighed. It's been 3 days and she's still acting like this. I wish there was something I could do for her. Sweetie Belle had refused to come out of her home for 2 days, only to finally return today on the last day of the year before the break. The other students offered her gifts, cards, and sympathies, but she ignored them, prefiguring okay to stay in isolation. She was quiet all day, only answering when Miss Cheerily called on her to answer a problem, and even then it was in a soft, monotone response.
traveling down the road that led into the town. Button Mash felt himself getting more nervous as the sound between the board continued. Eventually, Apple Bloom managed to say something. So, snows began lighter, huh? Yeah, it has, Scootaloo said, while Button nodded and Sweetie Belle said nothing. There was another brief moment of silence, so Button decided to speak up this time. You girls want to come over to my place for video games and cola? Guys, stop. You don't need to beat around the bush, Sweetie Belle said, coming to a complete stop and looking at a guilty face with a serious frown. Just say what you want to say. Just say what you want to say already. Sighing, Scootaloo said, worried about you. You've been acting weird. Yeah. You was so quiet. You was so quiet, and you never hang out with us during lunch recess. Don't you want to talk about it? Apple Bloom asked. Sweetie Belle bit her lip while looking at her host. There's nothing to talk about. I just want to be alone. But I said I want to be alone. Why can't you idiots take a hit? Sweetie Belle shouted as her friends backed away. Her anger soon faded as she gasped before biting her lips. I didn't mean to. I'm sorry. No one said anything. They just watched her leave with her head down and ears flat. Pardon me. For the first time in his life, Button Mash was in no mood to play video games. Something else was on his mind, and no amount of zombie bashing was gonna stop it. I know that feel, bro. Fumbling in his bed, Button looked over at his bedside dresser where some of photos of him and his family were placed. One photo stood out as he reached over and grabbed it. It showed him and Sweetie Belle on his last birthday 4 months ago. The sight of her joyful smile as she posed with him for the picture made him wish that this was the Sweetie Belle now, instead of the one he had seen this afternoon. Having moved a lot because of his father's job, he never thought he would have a stable friend until he met Sweetie Belle. There were others, of course, whose faces and names he could remember, but they were just for a brief few weeks, or months if he was lucky, for he was back on the road again, and they lost touch. He remembered the first time he met Sweetie Belle, never thinking that their one moment at Sugar Cube Corner would evolve into the friendship they had now. He was even surprised after when he was facing the biggest crisis of his life that day. Something tells me it's going to be trivial. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Bun shouted as he searched high and low across the playground. School had been out for 2 hours now. He still hadn't been able to find it. Growling, he cursed the names of Diamond Tiara and Silversmith. How dare they not only steal my Joy Boy, but also hide it from me as well. Revenge shall be mine just as soon as I find it. He then gasped as his words soon made him imagine what horrible fate might have befallen his beloved Joy Boy. What if it's got dirt between the buttons? What if they took out my copy of Mega... I'm so jelly. What if they took out my copy of Mega Mare X inside? What if they threw it into a lake or buried it 100 feet underground? Or banished it to an alternate dimension? What? Button Mash screamed as he waved his hooves in the air. Button Mash, are you okay? Opening his eyes, Button turned around and saw Sweetie Belle nearby, looking at him with a raised eyebrow. Sorry if I'm interrupting, but I'm pretty sure even ponies and Cancer Lock can hear you. Sweetie Belle, you have to help me, Button shouted as he got up and held her by the shoulders. Diamond Tiara and Silversmith took my Joy Boy when I wasn't looking, and told me they hid it somewhere in the playground. I have to find it because it's the only way I'll ever be able to play games out of my home. That's really important. It's really important, me, and I need you to help me find it. Even though I only just met you yesterday, you're also not a bad gamer, but I'm still calling that GoldenEye 07 game match fluke. And the only one I can depend on. With desperation in his eyes, Button's face got so close that both their snouts were touching. Will you help me? If it means you giving me some personal space, then yes, Sweetie Belle nervously answered. Great! Button Mash said with a smile. You pointed to the left and said, you search this side of the playground, and I'll search the other side. Engage and roll out. Don't you mean transform and roll out? Button Mash ignored Sweetie Belle's confused look before he went towards the sandbox and started digging as fast as he could. He felt his confidence growing now that he had a co-op player helping him. But the two of us working together will be able to find it. 1 hour later. I can't believe we still can't find it. The two tired ponies sat on the nearby bench, catching their breath. Button Mash shook his head.
It has to be somewhere. Anywhere. Maybe she swears by the same set again. We've searched it 3 times. Face it. Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon lied to you. It wouldn't be the first time they've done it, Sweetie said, laughing the sweat off her brow. Maybe you should just give up and get a new one. Are you crazy? Bun Mash screamed, shocking Sweetie. I can't just get a new one. That Joy Boy is important to me. It's just a stupid toy, Sweetie Belle argued. It's not a stupid toy. Bun screamed so loud it blew a bit of Sweetie Belle's mane back. Yeah, I'm not. I'm not young. Pushing herself off the bench, she turned away from the unicorn and gritted her teeth. Forget it. I'll search for it on my own. You wouldn't understand anyway. You're just some noob. He closed his eyes and waited for her to leave. To call him a geek or a jerk or whatever name she could come up with, just like so many others. What he heard instead surprised him. Are you crying? Opening his eyes, Bud Mash touched his cheek and indeed felt dampness. He tried to rub them off, hide his own sorrow while trying to push away his memories. Ones that were not happy at all. I wasn't, Bud weakly said, but knew it was futile. He cursed himself for looking weak, in front of a filly no less. Suddenly he then felt a hoof on his shoulder and slowly turned around. He saw Sweetie Belle staring at him with genuine concern and worry in her eyes. He tried to say something, but he couldn't, still stunned by the fact she was still here. She slowly lowered her hoof and asked politely, "Why is it so important to you?" Bun lowered his head and bit his lip, trying his best to stop crying. The Joy Boy. That Joy Boy. It was a gift from a friend I knew when I was living in Vancouver at the time. His name was Livewire, and he was really cool. We always hung out at the arcades and made a reputation of being the best players in the area. We even managed to get high scores on every game from Gauntlet to House of the Zombie Fun. My dad works a lot, so I don't spend as much time with him, and my brother and I sometimes get along. But he prefers hanging out with ponies his own age. And while I love my mountain cheese, my mom, I didn't have many friends, even in other cities. That all changed when I met Livewire. He smiled, still thinking of all the times he went off to the movies or malls. How he always gave him that cocky grin that was infectious. How he liked to embarrass him by pulling pranks on him during their sleepovers. That was all in good fun. But as his memory soon faded, his smile turned upside down. But then we had to move again, like so many other times. Even if it was just for 3 months, he was the best friend I ever had. Before he left Vancouver for good, he gave me his very own Joy Boy, so I could always remember him. My dry voice is not helping the mood. I cannot set a proper mood for this story. A fresh set of tears dripped down Bun's cheek. I never saw him after that. I tried writing to him, but I learned his family moved soon after we did, and I didn't get the address of his new house. I don't know where he could be in Equestria, and this Joy Boy is all I have left to remember him by. I never had a friend like Livewire again, mostly because we kept moving or the other colts and fillies just wanted me for my games, or thought I was too weird to even talk to him. Rubbing his tears away, he turned around and muttered, "Sorry, you must think I'm kind of a baby for crying." Sweetie Belle, with a soft smile, shook her head before hugging him. He tensed up and blushed at the notion of a girl touching him, but didn't object to it. Objection. You don't have to apologize. I'm sure your friend Mrs. Thank you, Bun whispered as he let himself enjoy the warm hug a bit longer before breaking it up. I was afraid you'd think I was a bit stupid. I don't think it's stupid at all, Sweetie Belle said, shaking her head. She nuzzled him and smiled. I think it's sweet of you, and I do realize how important it is to you. So that's why I'm going to help you. After all, you're my friend, that's what it is. Bun's mouth dropped before he started checking his ears to make sure he heard that. Friend? I'm your friend? Really? Of course, silly, Sweetie Belle said, lightly smacking him on the shoulder. What else would you be? Bun blushed as he rubbed his right leg. You don't think I'm weird or loud or even obnoxious? Well, you are those things, but in a nice way. Really interesting, Sweetie Belle said, bopping him on the nose. Thanks, Bun replied before his eyes glanced over towards underneath the bench of gas. Don't tell me. Oh my gosh, look! He dived under the bench and pulled out, from underneath, his Joy Boy looking no different than before.
With a cry of victory, he raised up in the air before hugging and kissing it, which only lasted a few seconds before it quickly hit it beneath his back, while Sweetie Belle giggled at its sight. Anyway, thanks for all your help, friend. No problem, Sweetie Belle said, before making her way to leave the playground. Button Mash looked at his Joy Boy for a bit, before a smile stretched across his lips. Hey, Sweetie Belle. She turned around as he leaped her over. Want to learn how to play Mega Man? Round P. Waking out of his memories, Button Mash sighed and put the picture back on the stand. I have to do something to make her feel better. He rubbed his chin and tried to think of an idea, when he spotted his laptop and made his way towards it. Using the internet, he looked up the heartwarming show and started checking it out. Maybe I can get those tickets for her. I mean, how much do they really cost? When he found the number of the price for a single cheap ticket, his mouth shot to the table. You've got to be kidding me. It's a miracle they even got tickets in the first place. Looking up to the ceiling in despair, he knew that there was only one way he was ever going to get those tickets, and it made him feel sick inside. He had to sell his games. That was the only way it could work, and he had 5 days to do it. What game should I sell? It had to be something rare and expensive. He slowly turned around to where the most prized possession in his attack rifle was. He knew dozens, even hundreds of gamers on various sites who would pay a fortune for it. Enough money to buy more than just a cheap ticket, and maybe even more than two. Maybe there would be plenty left over, so it wouldn't be a complete waste. But was he ready to part with his Ultimate 11, the crown jewel of his collection, the very soul of a true gamer? Sweetie Belle and her family could always save for more tickets in the future, and the show wasn't going to go anytime soon. Over time, Sweetie Belle would get over her loss and go back to being the happy and sweet food that she always was. But did any pony deserve to be so unhappy at the happiest time of the year? The glass protection reflected his face as he continued to stare at it, his hoof halfway to lifting it up as he felt his personal desire begging him not to do this. He said he would never sell it, never part with it. Button closed his eyes, but that was before I met her. With a heavy sigh, he lifted his glass. That takes a lot of cojones to do, and it's well worth it if you're truly making another best friend happy. This is going to be pretty good, not gonna lie. And we're almost at the end anyway. Heartwarming Eve had finally arrived. The day where every pony remembered how crushing it came to be, and for every child in the world, it was also the final day before Santa Hooves came and delivered their presents. For Sweetie Belle, though, this was the worst heartwarming season of her life. Half the presents she had gotten were gone, as well as the tree she and her sister had set up. The worst part was the tickets were now ashes like her dreams. She knew a part of her was being softened, and she knew it was best that both she and Rarity were alive and well. I just wish things were different. Sitting in the darkness of her room, just before the break of dawn, Sweetie Belle tried to get asleep, but found herself tossing and turning to the point where she grew so frustrated she threw her pillow against the wall. With nothing to do, she decided to sing soft. I'll punch myself in the face after this is done. With nothing to do, she decided to softly sing to herself a few songs fit for the holiday to make herself feel better. That is until a loud series of knocks from the door alerted her that there was somebody outside. The knocking kept going on, to the point where Sweetie Belle had to cover her ears. Getting out of bed, she opened the door and saw the rest. Her family had also walked in. What is Rarity yawned as she came out of her room? Going on? The pony's knocking at the door. But why at this hour? Magnum asked, rubbing it back. Is that a thief? Sweetie Belle asked, shaking her. Why would a thief knock? Rarity pointed out. The four of them moved down to the stairs, where the knocking continued until they reached the bottom floor. Magnum stood in front, just in case, and asked, Hello, who's there? There was no response. Silence hung in the air until Magnum found the courage to step towards the door and open it. Sweetie Belle leaned in to see who it was, but there was no pony around. Magnum was about to close the door when he noticed something by his left front hoof. It was an envelope. Levitating it, he closed the door behind him and read the cover out loud. To the Belle family. Sorry about your house burning down. Here is a gift from a friend. Enjoy it and happy heartwarming. Sweetie Belle watched as her father opened the letter and gasped, his eyes as big as saucer plates. What is it?
A smile grew on his face as he levitated. To every pony's shock, 4 tickets with a design and logo that Sweetie Belle recognized anyway. Are those? Sweetie Belle tried to finish, but couldn't, as her brain tried to restart itself in a sheer shock at what she was looking at. Rarity was the first to recover as she took one of the tickets into her own magical grip and shouted with glee. 4 tickets to the heartwarming Eve show in Manhattan. That means all of us can go, and not just me and Sweetie Belle. Are you serious? Sweetie Belle shouted as she rushed towards her sister's side for a better look. Indeed, right there before our very eyes were tickets to the show, and not just any tickets either. Sweet Celestia, these are better seats than we had before. Whoever paid for these spent a lot of money on them. Magnum looked at the envelope again. There's no name or anything. Who knows who could have sent it? Maybe it was Santa Hooves, Sweetie shouted with glee. He must have heard about how we lost our previous tickets in the fire and gave us these new ones as a present. The Sweetie, Santa Hooves, Rarity was about to say, but her mother cut off. Who cares if it was Santa Hooves or the Changeling Queen herself? We're all going to Manhattan. She then clapped her hooves before gasping. Oh my goodness. The event is today. We have to get ready. Oh my gosh. I have to get dressed. All those important ponies. I need to get to work now. Oh, of all of the times my shop had to be ruined. Rarity screamed as she and her mother went upstairs so fast it was like their tails were on fire. Sweetie Belle and her father rolled their eyes at the other mayor's actions before the former went out to the door and opened it. She ignored the cold before looking outside, trying to see if there was any hint of who it was. That granted her a chance to see not only her dream show, but bring her whole family as well. She closed her eyes and smiled. Thank you, whoever you are. What's wrong with me today? Sweetie, close the door and help me get breakfast ready. Since we're all up early, you might as well eat early, while your mother and sister go searching through their drawers like headless chickens. Magnum said as Zach, chuckling at his joke. Coming, Dad, Sweetie Belle shouted before skipping aside and closing the door. It was official. It was the best night of Sweetie Belle's life. She and her family arrived at the great city of Manhattan, covered in snow like a winter wonderland. The rumors of Manhattan being a huge fan of Heartwarming Day didn't do any justice to what she saw. Skyscrapers covered in red and green lights, each tree from the streets to the parks decorated with ornaments and tinsel, cars of ponies sticking out of every corner while foals threw snowballs at each other, and more. They even managed to see the big heartwarming tree at Rockefeller Center, lights on and all, as they entered the center itself for the event. A few rich ponies stared at them in disbelief as they passed by and found themselves on the 7th front row. Sweetie Belle even spotted Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon with their families nearby and gave a holler, earning a laugh when she saw both fillies' jaws drop when they saw her, a commoner, in the biggest show of the winter season. Sweetie Belle was so excited that she was jumping in her seat, something that her parents had to put a stop to when some other ponies in the audience started to complain. Finally, the show started, and that was enough to keep her on the edge of her seat. It was everything she dreamed of. Performances from Broadway plays such as Discorded, The Book of Larson, The Spectre of the Opera, and The Lion Prince. There were special performances from acts such as Cirque du Soleil, the famous river dancer Deer from Dolan, and to both her and her family surprises. The Great and Powerful Trixie was on stage, and I automatically loved this story 5,000 times more. I automatically loved the story 9,000 plus more. It's math. I saw Trixie on the other side of that line when I went from Famous to Riverdance. I saw Trixie and I was like, wait, is this real? And then I went over there and saw the word Trixie and I'm like, oh my god, yes. I should shut up. I have 19 minutes. Giving a performance that actually impressed them, showing just how far she had come since changing her act both skill-wise and personality-wise. But the best of it all were the singers. She saw the greatest singers of her generation such as Sapphire Shore, Mayor Yonce, and Timberhorn live on stage. I don't know who Timberhorn is a parody of, but I know Beyonce, so Mayor Yonce. Yeah. There were some oldies too, her mom acting all fangirly when Sir McCultney came on. But the best part of the night was her favorite singer, Tailslip, came on and sung her favorite song of all time, You Belong With Me. She even managed to get an autograph at the very end. The Bell family returned home with smiles on all their faces, but none was bigger than Sweetie Belle's. She was still humming and dancing around their heartwarming tree while Rarity and her parents were planning there. Sweetie Belle giggled and jumped on the bed, still bubbling with joy of all that happened. This is the best, heartwarming season ever. No, the best year ever. I can't wait to tell Apple Bloom School. And Buttons. Oh man, what about everybody else in school? Wait till they see my autograph with Tail Flip. Sweetie Belle, really? I know you're happy and all, but you shouldn't ruin the couch like that, Rarity scolded as she entered the living room. Let the girl celebrate her own way, Rarity, Magnum replied. It's a joyful time of year, and we have much to be thankful for, especially our mysterious benefactor. Being a beneficiary. Oh, I think I already know who it is, Rarity hinted. Really? Who? If you know them, I'll give the good pony a discount at a travel agency. I'll marry him or her! Sweetie Belle shouted, doing a flip in the air before landing on the floor. This is the best gift I ever got, and oh my gosh! What? Well, what? Rarity asked as she watched Sweetie Belle rush her room. Buttons gift! Sweetie Belle shouted from upstairs. I forgot to give it to him when I got it last week. Good thing I left it here than at your house. With the present in her mouth, Sweetie Belle made her way towards the door and opened it. I'ma be Mac right back. Mac, so I'm assuming that's supposed to be I'm gonna be right back, but whatever. Wait, what? Before she could run off, she felt a leg in her way and was knocked down on her haunches. She looked up and saw that she had bumped into none other than Princess Twilight, who levitated Sweetie Belle back to her host. Sorry, Sweetie Belle, I didn't see you. Twilight, I was just thinking about you. Rarity shouted as she rushed over and hugged her friend. Oh, darling, you didn't need to send those tickets to us, but I'm grateful nonetheless. Tickets? What tickets? Twilight asked, tilting her head. The Heartwarming Eve show tickets. To replace the ones we lost in the fire, Rarity pointed out. Sure, you heard about what happened to my sorrow while you were in Eagle Land with Princess Leslie. Twilight shook her head. Rarity, I didn't even know your house burned down until I got back today with Spike. I rushed over to see if there was anything I could do to help. Oh? But if you're not the mysterious person who sent the tickets, then who did? Rarity asked, scratching her head. I mean, you have the resources. If I knew, I would have. But again, I didn't. And even if I did, why would I keep it anonymous? Twilight asked. Must have been some pony who didn't want to be named for a good reason. But why? This is nice and all, but I have to get going, Sweetie Belle said, taking the gift in her mouth once more and heading outside, while the adults continued to talk about who it was that sent the ticket. While Sweetie Belle admitted she wanted to know as well, she decided there was no point in worrying about it. It's not like I'm going to meet them so suddenly. Ho, to your dismay. Bud Mash looked at the clock in his room, ignoring his Lunar Republic troops as they began their slaughter against the Solar Imperium. Sweetie Belle had to have been home by now. He wondered if she had a good time. Had to have been better than mine, Bud thought as he remembered the relatives that had come over for the annual match party every heartwarming Eve. He hated it, being forced to be next to his relatives, who dotted on him, giving him advice on what to do with his life, or giving him nasty aunt's kisses on a cheek with ancient lipstick not used in years. And as usual, he didn't get games to know, just empty cargo underwear. Why do I need underwear anyway? I run around naked. Wait. Holy sh... A knock on the door made him pause as his mother opened the door and smiled. Button? Sweetie Belle's here. She wants to talk to you, and I think she's got a present for a certain little gamer. Really? Awesome! Button shouted as he jumped off his seat and waited for her. Sweetie Belle soon entered, placing the gift between them. Button's smile grew even more as she noticed it was shaped like a video game cover, and did his best not to squeak. No, hold on, let me read it. Button's smile grew even more as he noticed it was shaped just like a video game cover, and did his best not squeak. No, not to squeak. It's read not squeak. Hey, sweetie. Happy Heartwarming Eve. Is that my gift? Is it Ne'er-do-well? Arkham Origins or Battlezone 4? I thought it was Battlefield. It won't be a surprise if I tell you, silly. And you better not open it till tomorrow, Sweetie Belle said, sternly but with a playful grin. I promise. Bud Mash repeated as he picked it up and hugged it. So how was your day? Better than mine, I hope. Sweetie Belle didn't waste any time, as she quickly told Bud Mash everything from the tickets to the event. Bun, for once, kept his mouth shut and let his friend squeak about the greatest night in her life, speaking so fast that he barely understood half of it. Sounds like me. But what he did know was that she had the greatest night of her life, as she put it, and that was enough to make him smile. He had wondered if his sacrifice was worth it, and the beaming face he saw on her proved that it was. Sounds like you had a great time. I'm going to put this away now, Button Mash said as he went towards his gaming shelf. Just as he put the packaged game away, he then heard Sweetie Belle gasp. Turning around, he saw her staring at a shelf for his most prized game. What? What is... He then saw what made her gasp and curse himself for not getting rid of the glass case where his former prized jewel was. Where his former prized jewel was. He was like... He must have been like... Darn it! Now I guess it's revealed today. It's gone. Your copy of Ultimate 11 is gone, Sweetie Belle shouted. Was it stolen? Did you let the authorities know? Maybe they can find it for... Sweetie, stop! Bun Mash yelled, realizing he had no choice but to tell you. I didn't lose it. I sold it. The look on Sweetie Belle's face would have been priceless. The situation was different. Bun didn't even think a jaw could drop that low, except in cartoons. Shaking her head, Sweetie Belle looked at him as if he was a changeling revealing himself. You sold it? Why? You said that you would never, ever, ever, should have been an extra ever there, would have been forever, part with it. That you would take it with you to the grave. If you sold it, you must have gained a huge fortune. A deep silence lingered in Button's room as he did his best to avoid Sweetie Belle's gaze. Her look of disbelief remained as she then asked, Button, were you the one who... Seeing as there was no point in hiding it, he sighed and nodded. Yeah, I got those 4 tickets for you and your family. I sold the game and got the money using my brother's PayPal account. It was just a matter of paying for the tickets online and getting them. Sure, I lost the game. But hey, it all worked out in the end, right? You got to see your show and have a great time, right? But... Sweetie Belle shook her head. It was important to you. You didn't need to sacrifice your game just to make me feel better. But I had to do it. I didn't want to see my best friend sad anymore, Bun shouted as he stopped himself. Sweetie Belle, it may have been important, but you're more valuable to me than some game. It hurts seeing you like that, all sorrowful and depressed. I wanted to do something. I had to do something. And I would give up that game 1,000 more times for making you feel happy. I did it because I wanted to stop my best friend from crying. Before Bun knew it, Sweetie Belle had nearly tackled him off his toes and held him. Crying into his shoulder, she whispered, Thank you. Thank you. Bun smiled and hugged her back, enjoying the warm feeling inside his chest. The two continued to hold on to each other for a long time, everything else forgotten. Soon enough, though, she broke the hug and, with Bun guiding her, they made their way down the hall, blushing and avoiding each other's sight. Just by the door, they stopped and looked at each other once more. Button, Sweetie Belle said, smiling at him, thank you for the greatest heartwarming eve I'll ever have. Bun's eyes widened as Sweetie Belle leaned forward and pressed her lips against his. I saw that coming, so. Frozen stiff, Bun's mind shot down as he felt the sweet taste of his best friend's lips. He should have been horrified, or at least backed away. But he didn't. He just closed his eyes and accepted her kiss. His first kiss. Their first kiss. Sweetie Belle soon ended it, and, with face completely red, said goodbye before rushing out the door. Bun was left standing in complete silence, for he looked up and saw, to his disbelief, the mistletoe his mother had teased him with only days ago. That's probably why she kissed you. Nevertheless, he grinned as he thought to himself, maybe this heartwarming eve wasn't so bad after all. Yeah, I know some of this isn't so much related to the Buttons fandom from the Ask Crusader blog, but I never read it. I only know about Bad Mash from the episode he had as well as what I heard about him on forums. That being said, I hope you all enjoy this, and I'll take praise or criticism for whatever. I hope you all have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Sure, I lost that game, and now everyone else has too. I read this before going all the way up. Gift of the Magi? I'm gonna have to check out Gift of the Magi in my own time. I've only actually ever seen Bun's Adventures episode 1, so I didn't know of anything else. Well, That was nice. And that's the end. How long was holy crap? Pretty long. Should it? Nah. Let's give you 1 hour and God. Took so long. Anyway, that's it. That was the other part to my Christmas special. Thank you all so much for watching. I would say something else, but that's it. See you guys next time.